This meeting is being recorded.
I just got a notification.
Yes,
there you go.
Yeah. So you were saying there about Curtis.
Yeah, so what was I saying? I've lost it now. What was I saying?
Curtis said it's been the best thing that you've ever done.
Yeah, just like for us as a family, we've just seen such a massive transformation just inside the house, and being able to deal with co-regulation with the kids, and even with each other. Like, it's not just helped with the kids, it's helped in general life. And it's really hard because people don't understand. Like, when people ask you, because I'm really open, I'll tell everyone everything, and people don't really understand what it is, and I'm trying to explain, and it's a really strange one because I don't think I understood fully until I was, and until I had probably my second call with you, and then it starts to click, and yeah, it has been a life changer.
Yeah, and I think, and I've said this to you before, you must have just been ready, because the way that you just went through the program and showed up to every call and just committed to it, and just having mind shift after mind shift, and implemented things. And I always just felt like you were obviously guided to doing this, and you were just at the right place in your life for you to become more conscious and integrate it, because sometimes we have all of it up here and we can do this, but to then integrate it. And I remember you would send me things on Instagram where you would send me pictures of the kids out in the garden, and you just did all of that,
Yeah, I mean, and even like Lydia even says to me, she, like, what have you learnt this week? Or sometimes if she's having a tough time, she'll say to me, but you've had lessons, I haven't had lessons. Like, even the kids have noticed, and like within themselves, and being able to co-regulate with each other as well is a new one that it's just happened in the last probably month or so. They've actually been able to, if one of them's upset or cross or what, the other one has been able to co-regulate, which is, I've just stepped back and almost wanted to cry, because it's just a beautiful moment. Like, when you think they've seen that from me and Kurt, like we've modeled that, we've been able to do that, so they've been able to do that with each other, and that's just beautiful, seeing them do that. But yeah, I was definitely I just had a moment that I was like, no, I need some help, I want to do better. But I think you just get to that moment, you just realize.
And I remember, and I'm sure it would have changed, feeling your feelings was a very difficult one.
Yeah, really difficult, really. I was actually going to message you the other day and say, like, I cry a lot now. Like, I would never cry before. I'd hold it all back. I would be like, no. But yeah, if I feel myself crying, I'll let myself cry, and it's not so scary anymore. But feelings was horrible for me before. But now, because I know that Lydia has the same. She has huge feelings, and obviously it doesn't feel nice for her. So I'm trying to obviously work on my feelings so that I can help her feelings, and guide her. But without me doing that myself, I can't help her.
Love that. And that's such an important thing to hone in on, because often parents will try and help the child with their feelings. Fiona, how can you help me with my child's feelings? But I need to help my feelings, because that's to help her.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And how old is Lydia now?
She's 7. She'll be 8 this year.
And then you said Rocky's going to be 4
next month.
And you shared with me just before we hit record about Rocky and him managing his anger. Did you want to just share that? Because I think, given his age, being great.
Yeah, he's amazing. So he can tell you if he's feeling angry. He can tell you if he's feeling sad. Even, like, he'll say, my tummy's hurting, but I think it's because I'm hungry. Like, even that, he has that. It's still a feeling, isn't it? Like, he has that knowledge, and he will take himself off. He likes to lay down when he's, like, if he needs to calm himself down, he'll take him. He did it this morning. He picked his pillow up. He went and laid on the stairs, random place, but we went with it. And he laid across the stairs, and he was just laying up, and you could just see he was just in his own little mind, his own little body, and he can do that. And he breathes, his butterfly taps. He also knows, once he's calmed himself down, he also knows what happened, what went wrong, and he'll go back and either apologize or, you know, and he's just, for 3, I think it's amazing. And people say to me, oh my gosh, like, how did he do that? How does he know to do that? And I'm like, oh, I told him that.
Yeah, it's always nice when you get that sort of validation and you know, acknowledgement from outside, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, because you started the program a year ago in 2022, so he was 2.
Yeah.
You were saying, you know, how, you know, you're so glad that you've done it when he was so young.
Yeah.
You also shared that there's a little bit of guilt because Lydia obviously was older. Do you want to just share a bit more about that and how that comes
up? Because I see such a huge difference in Rocky and his emotional intelligence and how he can regulate himself and co-regulate with me. He's able to tell you, you know, what's going on, and if he can't, he uses little actions, and it's the sweetest thing ever. And I think, oh my god, it's amazing. And then with Lydia, so she must have been 6 when I started. Obviously it's almost like you're trying to reparent, you're trying to redo everything you've done the last 6 years, so it's a lot harder. It doesn't happen so quickly, so I almost feel guilty that I don't have the knowledge. I didn't have the knowledge back then that I do now. Because I think it would be completely different if I did. You know, she would have a bit more emotional, like, you should be able to understand her emotions a little bit more. And still day to day with Lydia, like, we work hard with her. Whereas Rocky seems to be more steady and picks things up a little bit more quickly, whereas Lydia, it takes time and a lot of work goes in with her, which is great. You know,
what work would go in, to share with people the sort of things that you might do when you say a lot of work goes in?
It's the continuous. So Rocky, I might only have to say something once to about, I might have to show him an exercise once, and then the next time he gets a big feeling, he'll be able to go and do that. Whereas Lydia, because she has such big feelings that she can't bring herself down. So I would have to model to her. It could take weeks sometimes just to get her to do one very, very simple calming activity. It could take weeks for her to get that and then be like, oh, okay. So every day I feel like with Lydia, I'm trying to teach and model every single day. Whereas Rocky, I feel like we just go with the flow a little bit more. Because he can pick things up a little bit more, but he's also more sensitive, Rocky, so I think he is a bit more in touch with his feelings and himself. Whereas Lydia was like me before, whereas I just try and block, and then I just get this huge, massive, big emotional outburst. But she does really well, you know, she tries really hard. You can see that she tries really hard, but because she was older, it just takes a little bit longer with her to click.
And obviously it was over a year ago, but can you cast your mind back to what family looked like, how you felt on a daily basis, you know, when your head hit the pillow at night, what sort of thoughts were you having, where were you at before we got together?
Yeah, I to be honest, I didn't enjoy parenting. I felt you go to bed feeling stressed, feeling just completely overwhelmed, guilty because you've shouted all day at them. I just feel like nobody was really like 100% happy. Nobody was really truly themselves. Everything, I think I tried to overcomplicate things before. You know, like, and I would just, my patience was so thin because I didn't understand. I didn't give them a chance for me to understand. I'd just snap at them all the time. And yeah, it wasn't very nice. But now it's so different. Obviously everybody has ups and downs, you know, and we had a bad morning this morning, because Curtis's mum was in bed, and I was trying to say to the kids, like, be quiet, shh. And she was like, stop telling me to shush all the time. And then that just set her off. And it as well, it's different. So, you know, we had a bad morning this morning, but before we went to school, we had a huge hug, and she was okay. And she apologized, and I said, oh, I'm sorry, I got frustrated too, you know, this happens.
Yeah.
And but before I'd have been like, go, just go, you know, I'd do everything I can, just go to block it, and just go away from me.
Yeah. And that's the difference, isn't it? Because it's not that, you know, you do a parenting program and you know, commit to yourself the way you have done, and then everything's just great and calm.
Yeah.
It's just your awareness, your ability
Yeah.
to repair, you know, them things are key. And being healthily dysregulated, because I'm aware of what's happening, I'm aware that I'm frustrated,
Yeah.
and, you know, living in a different house at the moment while you're doing the renovation. You
Yeah.
know, all this is different, and it makes sense that, you know, this frustration from your part of,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So, and in that, how long does it take you to come back down? Is it just something like, we're prepared, we're off to school, I can crack on with my day? And would it have been different in the past?
Yeah, I feel like, so in the past, I would have just literally chucked her in the car, got her off to school, and I would have felt bad all day. I'd have been dreading when she comes out of school, thinking, oh God, like, what mood is she going to be in, you know? And I think I said to you before, like, Lydia's mood affects the whole house. But now it doesn't so much, because you I not that I don't let it, but I can control my mood and help myself. Um, so before, yeah, I would have just been like, just go to school. I would have got it, you know, and I'd have felt bad. But today, I was stressed this morning. You know, the kids were also very excited because it was snowing. So they've got the excitement of the snow. You know, they've got the complete change of household at the moment. Lydia's struggling a little bit at school, so we've got that. So she's got a lot going on for her. But we got in the car, and she got her book out. She was reading, so she'd basically, you know, regulated herself in the back of the car. And in the space from my mother-in-law's to here, I'd calmed, because normally I'd have been trying to correct everything, correct behavior, constant, you know, you should have done this if you'd have listened to me. Whereas now I don't do that. I just sit with it, let everybody calm, and then we'll just have a general chat after. So when we pulled up at our home, I just said, you need a cuddle? And we cuddled. It was lovely. It was so nice. And then I feel like that sets us both up for the day now. We've had a bad morning. We've had a cuddle. We've both apologised. We know what's going on. She doesn't need me to drill into her about, you know, her behaviour. She just needs me to be there for her at the moment. And she went off to school really happy, and I'm sure she'll come out of school really happy. And I'm not scared of that now.
Yeah. So yeah, talk more about that, being scared in the past, scared of her feelings.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was scared of my own feelings as well. Anger scared me a lot. I was scared of her outbursts. I was scared when they would clash as brother and sister, because I never had that. I was pretty much an only child, so I never had that. I was scared of everything. Just because I didn't understand it, and I didn't understand myself either. But now I'm not scared, and I think now, I find that, like, less is more sometimes, or actually all the time. I don't need to be constantly on them, because that's what I was before. I was just that parent that's just like, you know, constantly on them, and it's so degrading for them just to be shouted at all day. But now I'm not scared of anything, because I know I'm okay, and I know that I've got the tools to be able to help them.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't fix everything, and sometimes it's hard to step back and not fix things, but it's okay to have these feelings, and it's okay what everybody's going through, whereas I would have tried to fix before and tried, problem solving. But I'm not scared anymore of feelings and situations. I'm not scared of what people think, whereas I was before. Yeah, it's a huge transformation.
Absolutely. And just hearing you an empowered parent now, it's like,
Yeah,
things aren't perfect, but I know what's happening. I've got tools, I know what's going on inside of me and how to best support them. And that's such a big shift from where you were.
yeah, and it's hard to get there. It is hard to get there, and I'm still learning every day. Like, I don't think I'll ever stop learning, but I'm so much more curious and conscious. Like, I'm so much more like, if they're, whatever they're doing, if there's something unusual, their behavior, I'm like, but why? Whereas before I would have just gone, all guns blazing. Whereas now I'll take a moment to be like, but why are they like, what's happening for them first? I'll always hold myself first and think how I'm feeling at the moment and how they must be feeling, before I go in, to I wouldn't say discipline, but before I go in and try and help or talk to them, I just always pause and think, whereas I never would have done that before.
Yeah. And that pause is like, when parents at the beginning of the journey, and they might be very reactive and, like just judging the behavior and biting and why are you doing that? Learning to get to a place where you can take a pause is huge, but people are like, just take a pause. I'm like, that in itself can take weeks and weeks. And weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And every day something different happens, and every day you learn something new, and you might hear something or see something. I find that I learn a lot from other people, watching other people.
Yeah.
When I'm out or over the school and I see something and I think, oh, like, I'm not sure that I like that.
Yeah.
Or so I learn a lot from just watching.
Absolutely, yeah. And in them moments, it's like, not necessarily judging, but how do you feel hearing that or thinking that, and tracking what's going on in your system. And sometimes it might be a mirror of how you were or how you might default to in really stressful times, and it's just learning from people around you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had, since I've worked with you, I had one day where I just had a horrendous day. I don't think there was any reasoning for it. I just had a horrendous day, and I sat down at the end of the day and I said, like, I actually apologized to Curtis. I was like, I'm so sorry. I think today I went back to the power over parenting. And I just sat there and reflected on that and was like, wow, that doesn't feel nice. Like, it's happened. So it's, I've made a mistake today.
Yep.
And I apologized to the kids in the morning, but that felt better because I could apologize to them and I could tell them in the morning, hey, listen, yesterday was a bad day for me. I don't know why. I'm not quite sure, but I know that I went back to old school me and I didn't like that. I'm sure you didn't either. And there's so much more. They want to listen to me as well now because they know that I'm not going to scream and shout at them, and they know that they've got that safety in me now, and I've got safety in myself now, which is the main thing. Yeah,
that safety can hold space for feelings, can hold mind. And how do you look after yourself? I mean, tend to your needs. I hate that word because people often think of spa days and things like that.
Yeah.
Listening to this, just thinking, I've not done anything and I'm feeling stressed to bits. And self-care, what does it look like for you?
For me, I know when I'm getting to that stage where I can feel myself getting frustrated, or I know that I need to do something. But on a day-to-day basis, I try and, especially in the summer, I do my grounding in the morning. I have found that difficult over the winter.
Yeah.
But now that I've started the somatic experience, and I think I can manage that now.
Yeah.
But grounding for me is huge in the morning. The smallest little things for me, staring at the clouds. It's the biggest thing for me. It's so, yeah, it's just staring at the clouds, laying on the bed and staring at the clouds. Or last night, the blinds at my mother-in-law's were like slightly open, and from Lydia's bed we could see the moon, and we chatted about the moon for about 10 minutes, and it was lovely. It was lovely. But stuff like that on a daily basis, on days where I can feel myself getting frustrated, I can easily take myself away now, or I can say to Curtis, I need 10 minutes. Can you, and he's like, right, okay. Like, whereas before he'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, where he fully understands that, and he does the same. He'll say to me, like, I'm not doing very well today. Like, can you, like, help me? So yeah, on days where I can feel myself frustrated, I know when I need to take myself away just for 10 minutes, get a cup of tea and just refresh.
Yes, I love that, because often people do think of I haven't got time for that.
Yeah.
But you don't have time to like look at the clouds for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Or when you cup of tea.
Yeah.
You're like, and the thing is, if people are thinking they need to go for an hour's exercise class, but they can't even observe the clouds.
Yeah.
Setting ourselves up for failure. And that's things, I can't remember how much of that we did on our calls, and how somatic experiencing, orienting to the environment, and grounding, for anyone who's not sure what grounding is putting your feet in the grass outside, and connecting to the earth. It's all these things which make such a difference.
Yeah, and I remember the first time, and I said this to Andrew the other day, from SE. I said the first time that Fiona got me to look around the room, I was like, I felt so uncomfortable, because when do you sit there and actually really take in your whole environment? Like, as coming into this work, I would never do that. And I remember finding it really awkward, but now it's something I do like on a daily basis I don't think I even realise I do it now. And the kids are great as well, because they can do that. And we've done Lydia's room up. She's got a little calming corner, she's got fairy lights, she's got sloths. She loves sloths at the moment.
I'm a sloth girl.
She loves sloths, and she can tell me, right, I need to colour because I need to calm down. And and we've made her bedroom absolutely beautiful, and my goal is to make the whole house like that, because it makes such a difference. Your environment is huge, and I didn't realise that before. We're going for a huge massive stage of decluttering everything, because it's visual, and it does affect you, and I never realised any of this before. And the kids laugh at me, and Kurt laughs at me, because if the sunshine comes out, even the tiniest bit, I'm like this. And they laugh at me.
Have you got the Reminder app?
No.
Oh, I can't believe we didn't share this with you. So download the Reminder app.
Okay.
It tells you at what time the sun rises, what time it sets. It tells you the UV, and it tells you when there's vitamin D. So I think in about 3 days, the sun's now going to start producing vitamin D. So then that's going to make all of the difference. And you check the UV, and you can track how long to be outside as well, like with your skin type. So you'll put your skin type in, and it'll tell you when you go outside, especially when it's nicer weather. Start tracking it, and then it might say after 30 minutes your sun session has finished, go inside. And then it'll tell you at different times of the day to go out and get the benefit from the sun. Really, like, I'm probably not explaining it very well because I'm not very sciencey, but D-Minder, get it.
Oh, you get that. They do. I'm always, even in the car, I've got my face on the window.
Yeah, get the window down. Get the window down.
We love it. We love it. And the kids started doing it as now, because they, and birds as well. We've got this huge thing about, but I've always loved birds, little birds. And we get a lot of the big kites around here.
Right, okay.
And we just sit in the kids' bed and watch the kites from the window. And it's just lovely, that we just have a little chat, watch the birds. It's the simplest of things that you don't realise have the biggest impact. Like, and actually it brings me back to my childhood, Like my nan and granddad, we used to lay on the grass in their garden because they live in the New Forest and watch the bats.
Right.
And I think that's where now why I love watching birds and sitting and watching the clouds, because that's what I did when I was younger with my nan and granddad, and the kids love it.
And it's that to me is mindfulness. That's meditation. That's fully connecting and embodying presence.
Yeah.
Little kids and animals, they have that.
Yeah.
You get a cat out in the, there's a patch of sun in the garden, and they're there. They're like, and and they're looking around. And I always tell people, it's like, when a baby's in its cot, it wakes up from its cot, it's looking around like that, and then after so long it'll make its cry or sound for you. But it's not on a phone. It's not thinking, oh, I need to do this. It's just and how sad that we get to a place where we don't even look around our environment.
No, it is sad. And that's why I think now less is more. The less you have, the less you do. I stopped Lydia's dancing classes because she said it was too much.
Right.
And before I'd have been like,
you're a dancer, aren't you?
Yeah, I used to be a dancer, yeah. And she was doing it 2 or 3 times a week. And she just said to me, Mommy, it's too much for me. And I said, okay, fine. We'll stop. But before I'd have been like, oh, come on, like we'll just try it, but she said it was too much, so it was too much, so we stopped. And and then she said to me the other day, Mum, I want to try gymnastics. I was like, okay, great, we can try gymnastics. But now I'm guided very much from them.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, because that can be a difficult one, can't it, when you've invested time, hours, dancing, money. This is something, and to sit with how what that comes up for you, but then less is more. She said it's too much. Honor that need of hers. And we won't do it. And that can be very, very difficult for people to be there with that.
Absolutely, I agree. And I know that Lydia, I always say to my best friend said it to me a million times. She said, Lydia is going to be like a tree hugger or something. She is like a free spirit. She just needs to be out flowing around, just singing her little songs, doing her own little thing. Like that's just her personality. And I admire that so much. I wish I could just float around and just, I admire that so much. Like, whereas before I'd have been like, what is wrong with her? But now I admire the fact that she's just got this free energy inside of her. And I think she's going to be like, she's definitely going to be something either with animals or outside or a spiritualist or something.
Little guru child. Well, she's got all that emotional intelligence and that nurturing and guidance from you. So throughout this process, and you've mentioned the word somatic experiencing, and we did talk about that just before we hit record. So somatic experiencing is something that you're doing now, isn't it? Which from my recommendation to you, because when I work with parents, I always like them to continue the learning if they can. And if I'd suggested somatic experiencing instead of doing the program, how do you think that would have been? Do you think you would have been ready, or do you think the program to that place?
I don't think I would have been able to do the somatic experience first. I think because the somatic experience, I think, is all inside of you and your mind and connecting to yourself, but you brought that awareness to me. If I hadn't have had you for 12 weeks, I don't think I'd have been able to let my body and my mind, I don't think it would have been beneficial, whereas now it's hugely beneficial. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And it's important to make that, because I myself obviously recommended my somatic experience practitioner, and I'm training in it this month for the next year, because I believe fully in it. I think everybody should do it.
Absolutely.
There's also so much benefit in cognitively developing and learning, which is what you did on the program, with a bit of encouragement with SE type things and safety and one-to-one, and then integrating the two and being like, now I'm ready to work on my nervous system because I've got this.
Yeah, absolutely, because you brought that awareness. And yeah, we used to do a little bit, didn't we, at the beginning of the session, or you brought that awareness, and if I hadn't have known about that, then I don't think I would have been able to do the somatic experience. But it is amazing. I think everybody should give it a go. But I think you do have to be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do make that recommendation to a good percentage of people who finish the program if I feel they're ready.
Yeah.
Or I might guide them somewhere else. Maybe you need some talking therapy or relationship counselling or whatever. I feel like my power is being able to give people information for their next stage, and that they might not have had before. Like, you wouldn't have gone and done a Google search on somatic experience, and you wouldn't have even
No, and also because I learned so much with you, when I stopped with you, I felt lost, and I just wanted to learn. I just wanted to know more. Like I said to Curtis the other day, I want to go to uni. I want to learn like child psychology. I want to know everything. Like I want to know what happens in brains. And he looked at me, he was like, what?
Yeah.
But I just want to learn now. And I think, and that was just, through doing those 12 weeks with you and seeing and learning so much and seeing the benefits. I did a short mental health course in children and young people, which was great. I did that for 8 weeks, so that was lovely. I just wanted to learn. I think you gave me so much more than just parenting. Like it's not just parenting. Like it's so hard to explain. It's so hard.
And it's a relationship, isn't it, that we develop, and that one-to-one support, and hearing, when it finished, I felt a bit lost, and
I cried on our last call, didn't I?
I think I probably did as well. And I myself think it's really important, if people can, to always have some sort of one-to-one support at stages of life, because I couldn't function without my support networks that I'll have.
No, absolutely not. I think that's really important. I think you have to give it a go. You have to try. Like you have to. I think there's a bit of a stigma about it, isn't there? There's a bit of a stigma about getting help. Because I know when I told a few people that I started this course, they was like, what? Like the understanding isn't there, and there's a bit of a stigma. Well, why do you need help? There's nothing wrong with you. Like whereas now it's not that there's anything wrong with me, it's just that I'm just trying to look after myself, and I'm trying to learn and look after the kids and help the next generation and break the cycle for the next generation. But I think everybody, just our phone calls was like therapy. I know it's not, but it was like therapy, because you would listen and you wouldn't judge, and you understand and you help, and that was lovely. I'd never had that before.
And I think that's important as well, because sometimes I feel like parent coaching, the way I do it, it's almost like an entry into therapy. So if someone's never been in a position where they've had one-to-one, it can feel quite scary and vulnerable. And there's people who might have had bad experiences of one-to-one as well, which is like put them off. You've obviously gone off to do somatic experiencing, and I've worked with other clients who maybe they've been brought along by their partners and they've not really wanted to do it. They felt so comfortable in a 3 afterwards they've been like, Fiona, like we're ready to go and do individual somatic experiencing now, and I would never ever have done that in the past. So I do think there is stigma around therapy, coaching, all of it. Parent coaching can be like a soft entry into looking forward to a weekly call, what comes up, just having someone to listen and modeling the skills that we might want. There's so much modeling that happens that we then take into our families. The same with you now with your somatic experiencing practitioner. He's modeling so much to you that you shared, you do with the kids. So it's not only just an investment in you in that moment, but I'm going to take all of this into my home, into my kids.
Absolutely. And I remember he, like at the first call that I had with Andrew Somatic, he pauses a lot throughout the session and just breathes. And before, like, we used to do a little bit of that, didn't we? We used to just take a moment.
Yeah.
But before I'd have done that with you, that would have scared me. That silence, that would make me feel really like, oh, like that's weird, it's uncomfortable. But because I'd learned so much from you, I knew what he was doing. I knew that we were taking a moment, like without him having to say, I'm going to take a moment now.
Yeah.
It was just, it becomes natural. And that, even something little like that in your day-to-day life, it makes a huge difference. But without someone, it's weird, isn't it? Because it's the things that you think you could do day to day, but actually you don't. And without someone bringing that up, you don't realise that you need it.
Yeah. And what you've done, Sophie, is you know, in your words, you've become more conscious, but you've become more connected. So you're able to feel your body, you're able to notice sensations, and probably notice when you rush around the house, or notice when you walk slow, notice what it's like to feel the sun on your face, or to look at the moon, and to lie in the bed. These are things that were very unconscious for you before. Like, I was just on autopilot, just doing life. The kids are triggering me. Help.
That's literally it. Yeah. Definitely. And now that was one of my New Year's resolutions, just to slow down the pace. Because you get sucked into the world around you, and it's just go, 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 and you don't take any moments for yourself or the kids. And I'd always be looking to go and do things. Let's go do this, let's go and do this. But actually, that's not always what you need. Sometimes you just need to sit on the sofa and have a cuddle.
Yeah.
It's you know, the little things that are the biggest things.
Absolutely. And that tuning in, and I was sharing with someone the other day, you know, we see Instagram and someone will say the 5 habits of, you know, successful people or whatever, go for a walk, get in nature, do all of this. But actually, what does my body need in this moment? Yes, I might like to daily walk, but today my body actually just needs to sit on the sofa with a weighted blanket and a hot drink.
Absolutely.
Being that aware in these moments. What do I need? Yes, I know these things are good for me. I know the gym would be helpful right now, but my body's saying, actually, I need a bath. And that's recharge me more than using that window of time that I've got to go and do some high intensity workout.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I said to my husband actually that I want to start swimming every week, because I had this moment in summer last year where we was in Mallorca, and there was a beautiful cove, and I swam out, and I'm not the strongest swimmer, but I swam out quite far, and I was just floating, and it was such, like, in my body I felt amazing. Like, it was such a beautiful feeling that I wouldn't have even taken notice of before. You know, like, I can feel the water on me, like my surroundings were amazing, what I can hear. Like, I would never have done that before, and I would have taken that moment for granted. And then this year I've said, that's it, I want to start swimming, because I mean, I know I'm not going to go to Mallorca every week, but the actual motion of swimming and what it does for you, just, you know, even half an hour would just benefit you so much. And like you said, instead of like forcing yourself to go to, like, I don't know, boxercise or whatever, you know, like, just really, I've learned so much about my body, which is really important.
And letting your system guide you on what it, maybe one day it might want the box size, but another day, actually, swimming, it's something I enjoy. It's not something I've got to will myself to do. It reminds me of holiday. I can visualize that there. So that connection, and, you know, I've said to you before, like, it was just such a joy to work with you, and just to see the transformation in the 12 weeks, and to see what you've continued to do, and that it didn't stop, and that I'm so happy that you're doing somatic experiencing, and hope that, you know, finances allow you to do it as long as you can, you know, to get that for your nervous system. That, you know, it's just incredible how much you just tacked everything and went for it, and was like, I'm doing this for my family.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for you, so thank you.
Well, you know, we connected for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, if you were to share with someone, if someone sat watching this video and they're thinking, who on earth is Fiona NG? What's happy me parenting? What's conscious parenting? and you were able to have a conversation with them, if they were sat on the fence about doing the program, what would you say to them?
Do it.
Do it. That was very
I could not give them any choice. Do it.
do it.
No. It was the best thing I've ever done in my life, and it changed everything for us. All I can say is, if you're prepared to do the work, and if you're ready for that change and a better way of living, a better mindset and more of an understanding, then you 1,000,000% have to give it a go, because the benefits are just amazing. And you are the best person to work with. So yeah, for someone who's never done anything like that before and had really, had worries, and I was really nervous, but you have a very good way of putting people at ease. Well, you put me at ease anyway. So yeah, my advice would just to be, if you can do it, do it.
Yeah. And I think what you said there secondly is, if you're ready. And
if you're ready, yeah.
There's some people who might reach out to me and I'll direct them somewhere else because they're not ready for me, or our nervous systems aren't right. And I just think if someone's feeling pulled and feeling ready and like, yeah, this is the next step, because I forget what it was like for me all them years ago, taking my first steps.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like a massive step, but it's one that I think everybody should do. Everybody, like, and I want to stress, it's not a parenting course where you're told, right, when your child does this, you do that. Like, that's not what it's about. It's learning and understanding and being more conscious. I mean, curious.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, because I think that's one thing that I do want to mention. It's if someone sat there wanting strategies and 10 steps on how to do this, and this is not what this is about. This is a very inward looking journey on what's going on for me, my feelings, a bit of my childhood, why I do the things I do, and making them changes on yourself, which have the impact on the kids. That's conscious parenting. I'm not sure if you've read Dr. Shafali's new book that's just came out.
No.
Parenting Map, and she talks about that. It's shifting from saying about our kids, like, why are they doing that, to what's going on inside of me. Moving away from focusing on the kids. And I think she says, if it was about the kids, it would be called childing, but it's called parenting for a parent.
Absolutely. And it's breaking that cycle, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you. This conversation has been lovely, and I'm sure it's going to speak to many people. And I really appreciate, because it's not for everyone to do video testimonies. It can be a big thing. So I really, really appreciate the fact that you've been willing to do this and have this chat with me today.
Thank you for having me again. It's been lovely talking to you. I've missed you.
It was really nice to catch up.
Oh, thank you.